Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Plate Stack Chat. This is episode number 84, would you believe? 84. Another week of wizardry with myself, Sam, and the one and only Jason Croxham. Jace, how are you?
I'm all right. I have a little bit of a dead shoulder now from today's workout, but apart from that, it's okay.
We'll go into that. We'll go into that in a minute. I want to know all about it. So this week we are diving into the world of, well, if you're a long time listener of this podcast or watcher maybe, then you will know about fantasy fitnessing. We have our own Plate Stack Chat League, and that will be kicking off again for the CrossFit Games. And we're also looking at some front page news. Apparently, front page news on the front of the Saturday or the Times on Saturday. There was some new fad that Jason's going to talk us through, and why and what and what it's got to do with fitness, CrossFit, or everything in between. But yeah, let's find out, Jace. What you've got a bad dead arm?
Oh,
What did you do? Talk to us.
So the workout was ascending ladder, the worst kind of ladder. Always prefer it, descending ladder.
Descending.
Although in this case, ascending was definitely a lifesaver, and it was row 100 meters. And Yash is in the comments. Hi, Yash. I told you I'd speak to you later. I said that. I said it in a comment, and now I've said it with my voice, so that's nice. So it was ascending ladder, and the rep scheme was it was basically 1 2 3 4 for most things, and then there was a like 2 2 4 6 8 for the other line. So it was 100 meters on the rower. So first round was 100, and then you did 2 3 4 etc. And then it was ring muscle ups and burpee box jumps.
Did you do the ring muscle ups?
I did the ring muscle ups.
All of them?
Well, define all of them.
I mean, you just said it was an ascending ladder.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So it was infinite. It was a 25-minute time cap as well.
So you just did all of them? So all of the muscle ups?
All in the world.
All of them.
I was going around the gym saying like, hey, do you need me to... I'll do 2 of yours if you want. Like if you need some help. No, I did them. I didn't get very far, to be honest. I was like on the set of 5 when I think I'd done 4 of the 5 when the time cap hit. But it was a victory for me because I am one of those weird people that until today could only do strict ring muscle ups. So couldn't kip them, could just do them strict. And like these kind of WODs were just constantly killing me because anyone who could kip was sort of flying through them, and I was
smashing you,
grinding out these strict ones. And then today, finally, it sort of semi-clicked during the warm-up, where it was less of a kip and more like a half kip. So instead of just starting from a complete dead hang, the strict part was only like when I was already halfway through, which was nice. And then it got to the point where actually the kip was coming along quite well, and I was able to kind of then drop down and re-engage the kip to go up and link them. So it was pretty good. But now it's so it was like 4 o'clock, so like 4 hours later, and I'm starting to really feel
wishing you weren't doing kipping muscle ups. Yes, mate, absolutely. We got Yash in the comments again. Hope you're both well. Ascending and then descending ladders are fun. I much prefer an ascending descending ladder, as long as you're not going too high. Well, as long as if you're going like the open where you went 1 to 10, 10 to 1, that was disgusting. No ascending ladder should be doing that. Yeah, should be going that high. Like 1 to 5, back down to 1, perfect.
I really like descending ladders. I find I'm quite good at picking like the weight on the bar or whatever that's just that sweet spot where actually we did one last week that was thrusters, chest to bar pull-ups, and the high box jumps. So and it wasn't this was like at the end after we'd done a strength session, so it wasn't a long metcon, but the aim was to keep it unbroken, the thrusters. So it went like 12. I think it's 12, 9, 6, 3 for everything. And I'm pretty good at like I can hit 12. I couldn't have done 13, and then in the next round, like, oh yeah, I got 9, but I tell you what, I don't think I could have hit another. I couldn't have done 10, and like just kind of riding that real sweet spot on a descending ladder. So I quite like that. Ascending, it really depends, doesn't it, on what you've got, like what movements you've got. Because I remember the Open would have been what, like 17, then 18, I think. So like 17, it was thrusters and chest to bars, ascending ladder, and then the following year it was exactly the same but descending. And like for me, like the chest to bars much better than the thrusters, right? So with the ascending, it was like at least every now and again I got to do a few chest to bars to break up these thrusters. And when it was the descending, I was just like, oh, I'm just stuck on these thrusters for forever.
Yash is in the comments giving us. I'm going to question that maths. I don't think that's true.
So the maths that he's questioning is 1 to 10, 10 down to 1 is 100 reps. This is a very long.
He's
pause.
right. Good maths. I thought, why did I think that was more than 100? Because 1 to 10 is 55, but you don't do another 10. That's why I was thinking. No, it's 110, but it's not 110 because you don't do 2 lots of 10.
It's that whole.
Thank you, Yash, for your quick maths.
It's that trick, isn't it? That they are just like a trap, that kind of workout, as the majority of people discovered during the Open.
It's a trap. The rounds 1 to 6 are like, yeah, I'm going so fast. Yeah, you're not even a third of the way through the workout yet, buddy.
It's awful. Anyway, but yeah, pretty good. Good workout today, so that was nice. Never bad for a Monday. Yeah, it was a shame because actually, when I said to Yash, "Oh, I'll speak to you later," I was in the comment section on the Savan podcast, and they were just about to get Bosman on, and I was like, "Oh, I have to go because I've actually got to do CrossFit and not just talk about it." So, that was That's what happened. Anyway, and you?
I used to be Monday crew. I now gym 7 p.m. That doesn't happen anymore because we podcast at 8, so I can't really. It just doesn't work. So now I'm Tuesday, Wednesday crew generally, which is okay. Different crews and different evenings. But I don't know if I made many of the. I don't know if I made many last week. I think in fact I only trained one time last week, but it was disgusting.
Oh, it was so intense. It was good enough for the week.
But honestly, my MEP, I got like 160 MEPs in that one workout. We did like a little sort of pull-ups workout at the beginning. Oh no, was it pull-ups or was it something else? No, it was cleans. It was an EMOM of some cleans, and then the other bit of the workout was like 6 rounds. Every 6 rounds, it was every 3 minutes. You had to do an 18-calorie row. What else was it? It was, I want to say it was air squats. In fact, it was on my Instagram, and I looked like death. It was 20 air squats and then 12 pull-ups. And I did ring row, and it was death, absolute death. Loved it.
Yeah, I think the MyZone thing is interesting. They don't help me out the same way they do you, but I use it anyway. And what I always love is that, like, if you do a week and a half, like consistent CrossFit classes. So for me, I just do the class. I'm not really doing kind of my own training or open gym or anything like that. I'm just going in, let's say 4 times a week and doing the class, pretty consistently. And I find within a week and a half, maximum 2 weeks, I get the email from MyZone where it's like, congratulations, you've done a month's worth of and like the recommended amount of
World Health Organization amount of exercise.
And I'm like, man, this is the greatest advert for CrossFit you could have. Really, it's just like
Well,
that's
I really
how good
enjoy
you
it
are.
because, well, I really enjoy it because you can see what zones you're in. So, like, if I'm yellow, if I'm high yellows, I'm like, I need to take a second, just compose myself a bit because there's no way I'm staying there for like however long this workout's going to be. So I'd sort of take myself down a little bit, have a breather, get back into the green, and then go again. Dreamy.
Yeah. Well, next
The
time
dream.
you're rubbing elbows with the My Zone people, Sam, just make sure they know that I'm a gold
Are
standard.
you? Are you?
Yeah, I've been using
Mate,
it for
I
a
need
while.
to get. In fact, oh, what's the date?
Oh, you got time? It's only the 25th.
When you say I've got time, I don't know how many I've got to get. 788.
Yeah, it's like
That's 6
four
days of 100.
4 CrossFit classes will do that for you.
Oh, 512 needed.
Oh yeah, you get that. That's fine, no problem. Go for a run.
I'm only bronze. Bronze plus 0. Got it last month. Don't want to lose it this month.
Well,
but
if
anyway,
ever there was a month to lose it, it's when you're
when you're on 0, right?
When you're plus 0. I will.
Yeah.
I'm gold plus 10.
So you're only 2 months away from
platinum.
Sheesh.
Yeah, looking forward to my platinum sponsorship, My Zone. Just and also it syncs up to your. I've got a Garmin watch as well, not a Whoop. Sorry guys, and it syncs up to that as well, which is great. So when I am running or something, I can just I don't need to be holding my phone. I can just look at my watch and see
I've got a Samsung
the zones
that does the
I'm in.
same.
So I think that is
Or
good.
my Zone actually flashes the color.
Have you got the wrist one?
Yeah, I've got the My Zone Switch.
Yeah,
which
nice.
is like chest, wrist.
Yeah,
or
no.
bicep.
See, because I was an early adopter, I don't have that. I've got the older model. Obviously,
you're the cool kid. You're the OG cool kid.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of being really fit and really fit people, let's swing into some.
I thought for a second you were going to address why Tom's not on the podcast. Who we talk about?
I was. Well, he's actually doing some fitness. I've seen on his Instagram. Yeah. He's. Yeah. Do you want to go through why he's not here?
Oh no! I mean, just he's
not here.
I think he's training and stuff at the moment. He's he's not here.
he's not here. I think his words were I'm prioritizing other things, which is good when you've got a new family.
Yeah.
With a very young child, which is
watched over doing some squats by his baby the other day. So there we go. That's
that'd be very cute.
Good. I'm just trying to.
Before we leave this, Yash is in the comments with 1 up to 20 down to 1 with kettlebells is nice for conditioning. I disagree with you, mate. I'll be honest. So 1 to 10 to 1 is 100. 1 to 20 to 1 must be an awful lot more than 100.
Yeah. Well, what are you doing with the kettlebell? Imagine if it was Turkish get-ups.
Oh, you'd be there. You'd literally be there all day.
Yeah, nice. So, talking of extremely fit people, you said.
Yeah, I'm just working out how many reps that is.
Okay, in the meantime, while you're doing that, I'll try and reposition myself. I'm wearing my nice new Coffee Pods and Wads t-shirt that I said, I'll break that out on the podcast. And then I realized that sitting here, you cannot see any of the t-shirt. You just see my neck, basically. So, yeah, very nice, very comfortable, very, very nice. Highly recommend. Oh, so Yash is saying swings, 24 kilo. Reps. It's a good workout.
That's 400 reps of 24 kilo swings. Not a chance, pal. Not a chance.
How many reps?
400.
I've got I don't have a 24 kilo kettlebell. I've got a 20 kilo kettlebell here. So
do it.
Potentially not now, but yeah.
Can
you wait? I'll be back in a second.
Yeah. Jason's just off to do 400 reps of kettlebell swings. I mean, if you wanted to, I don't know, paralysis, is that a thing you can get from kettlebell swings? I feel like I might if I did that many.
Yeah. I mean, also like 24 kilos is a third of my body weight as well.
Yeah. Not mine.
It's fine. Anyway, talking of people that 400 kettlebell swings is like a warm up over breakfast for them.
Yep.
The fittest on earth, or at least those that are trying hard to prove themselves to be the fittest on earth. The CrossFit Games is very fast approaching. You mentioned it in the intro. we've done a lot of the fantasy fitnessing things. I know we didn't do it for all so there were too many semi-finals, if I'm honest with you. Like, you had to pick kind of three rosters a week, and we were actually trying to kind of organize ourselves to be doing stuff in person and trying to record, and we were shifting times around when we were recording and things. So that didn't happen. But we're back on board for the games. We're back on board.
I'm on it.
In a
on
big
it like
way.
A carb on it. In a big way? Are we in a big way?
Well, we're doing a podcast.
Is there a draft? Is there a draft league? There must be a draft league.
Yeah, probably.
We need to get, if we got loads of people in the draft league, that'd be so good.
Yeah, you get one athlete each. Congratulations.
Yeah. So if you don't know what fantasy fitnessing is, if you go to @fantasy fitnessing on Instagram, you'll find out all about it, or go to fantasyfitnessing.com.
Yes.
And you can sign up, and you can join the Plate Stack Chat UK leaderboard if you want to. We'd highly recommend it. A lot of good people are in there.
Yeah. Others have, and once you've made your team, you can also jump that team into, so you'll be entered into like a global leaderboard anyway as well, which don't look at that because it doesn't ever make you feel good. Just look at the smaller leagues. But then, like Clydesdale, they've got a league, you can join that. Coffee Pods and Wads, he's got a league, so there's like a few different ones you can jump into as well, and follow along with your favorite obsessive CrossFit people, basically. But the way it works, it's very simple. So if you're also being like, but maybe I'm not that much of an expert on CrossFit the way you guys clearly are, he says,
all you have to do is look at our performances for the last few that we've done, and you'll know. Although I did pretty well in
I think generally we've done pretty well, actually, because we also get entered into like the media leaderboard, which is always nice, like being ahead of someone, like Chasing
beat Brian Friend last time.
There you go. So
just saying,
get that on a t-shirt. So.
There you go. Plate Stack Chat beating Brian Friend at Fantasy Fitnessing.
Yeah. Fancy disc golf would be another matter, but fantasy fitnessing you might get.
Fantasy disc golf. Surely just in-person disc golf.
So you get a budget that is not enough money.
Absolutely not.
I mean, Dave, if you're listening to this, I'll make sure to tag you in, so you better listen to this after the fact. That budget it's aggressively harsh, and the budget is between all 6 athletes. So you pick three men, 3 women, and you also put in the point spread that you think there will be between first and second place. So if there's like a tie break that somebody else picked the same 6 people as you, that's the way to differentiate it. But so that $250 is divided between the 6 athletes. So you could like have a stacked men's field and then a really, nothing women's field. Or you can, try and balance both teams as best you can. And obviously different athletes cost different amounts of money. What surprised me, tell you what surprised me. Do you know what it is? Actually, it's because Justin costs $70. So Tia is only $10 more than Justin, but she is like $20 more than everyone else. Like then they're not everyone else, then like the next closest person. And I think maybe last year Justin was only $60 maybe. And so there was like Tia was noticeably more expensive than anybody else.
Yeah.
And this year they've kind of tricked me into being like, oh, she's only that much more than Justin, so she's not actually that expensive. So that's how they got me. that's how they got me.
Well, yeah, I think it's a trap. I think that it is. I think in some ways it's great. In other ways, it's not, because the budget is good. I think they could have another $50. I think another $50 on the budget is currently set at $300.
$250.
Is it $250? Yes. Yeah. 50. Yeah. I think it could be 300, and that would be like I think that would be perfect, because then you would be able to pick people that you'd be able to pick more people that you wanted.
Yeah, and I guess that's why. I mean, they're smart people. these fantasy fitnessing people.
They
They're very smart. So
are.
they've obviously thought, if we give you any more, like, you cannot be trusted to have any more money. It's what they've said. It's like,
Yeah.
you're just gonna go
Your
out and
allowance
spend it
is
all
this. Yeah.
straight away.
You're gonna blow it all onto you.
You're gonna blow it all on Tia and Justin. And
That sounds way
but
worse than it needs to
what's
be.
funny is the only person I know, like, I remember we've done this in the past. Like, you can go back and find some of the old episodes. And like we always struggle. Where I was like, oh man, yeah, I was like, I got that, and then I put them in, and I realized I was like -20, and I needed to reevaluate and try and find someone cheaper, because I swapped 2 athletes out so I could afford, because they wouldn't let me. I was over budget, and the only person I know who's left money on the table was Tom.
Yeah.
Who was like, I'm just picking every English athlete that I can find, and there you go. Or so. Do we want to go through our picks? Have you done yours?
I've done my sort of first look.
Yeah, I would have said I've done my first draft.
Yeah.
I'm assuming all the drug results are back in.
Well, I think I've picked some pretty safe bets on the drug results.
Yeah.
If there aren't any, but
I think you're going to be very surprised with my picks.
Well, I think everyone who you want to pick is too expensive for you.
How dare you?
In fact, they're not. Well, the two there's 2 that I know that you'll want to pick on the female side, which would leave you enough for Tia.
Yeah,
and then I don't really know where you've gone with the men.
And I reckon I've not picked the 2 that you think.
No. Okay, and that's fair enough. That's absolutely fair enough. Well, let's go for it.
So, what do you want to do? Like one pick each?
Yeah,
and then we'll talk.
Are you going to start with your least expensive or most expensive?
No, I'll start with the most. I think like the most expensive are the less shocking.
Yeah,
maybe.
Okay.
What's really funny is I haven't picked, like, there are certain athletes I'm like, I feel like I should pick this person. Like, I'm always, promoting like this athlete or that athlete, and I think they're really good, and then I haven't picked them, and I feel a little bit like, oh, maybe I'm making a mistake. But I have a very specific reasoning behind my general picks this time.
Okay.
Yeah. Tia. There you go. First pick.
Yeah.
Women's side. Tia. $80. Far too expensive. She won like by a lot. So Cara Webb. Flashback to the past.
You okay?
Cara Saunders. Whoa.
We go back to the future.
Next thing you know, I'll be talking about Jamie Green. So, Cara Saunders, her performance at Torian was incredible. At any other semi-final, that would have been an outstanding performance. Especially when you think about like Sid, that like last day of Sid, the final event, it was still kind of up in the air. No one had like really solidly pulled ahead, but Cara would have, with how well she'd performed.
Yeah,
but Tia just outperformed everyone, and the problem is that, right, like, she's so expensive, but you just know
if she doesn't win 9 events, I'll be so surprised.
She's just going to rack up all that. And I know I've been listening to a lot of Adrian Bosman speaking on different podcasts recently. You may have noticed. And I know
you got a video about that, didn't you?
I did. And actually a bit I wanted to leave in, and I clipped it out just for time. He was just when he's talking about a balanced test, he was talking about Tia and how, no one really talks about, like, last year at the games, that she won the first event that was like an hour plus event. And then she also won the sprint event that was like, minutes.
Yeah.
And she won the heavy lift.
Yeah.
And like, that shouldn't be possible.
No. Well, that's the point though, isn't it? Like that's when you know that you have to have, and it goes back to the fantasy fitness. That's when you know you have to have someone in your team, because you can't have someone who wins an endurance event and like Metcon essentially and a strength event. They're just outside of Tia, they don't exist.
Yeah. So now I'm looking at my thing. I'm like, oh, maybe I've made, but I don't think I've made a mistake with some of the things. Okay, so
Tia, if Tia doesn't win at least 9 events at the games, I'll be 100% surprised.
Yeah,
she should be winning at least 9. Maybe she won 11 at the last games.
So the only other wrinkle in my plan is the cuts.
There's
Because
only one though, isn't there?
there's one, and it only cuts 10. But I do wonder, because I've spent so much on tier, the other athletes that could get me points, like all you need is that they do well in 1 or 2 events. But because you're kind of confident that tier will get you all the points, but it depends on what happens with the cuts, because they could potentially earn me 0 points all of Sunday. 2 people could earn me 0 points all of Sunday. So we will see. Anyway, have you also got tier then?
Yeah.
Did I discern that? All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to go to your first male athlete, or do you want to finish off the females?
Let's go first male. Most
Okay.
expensive male.
You go then. You go first, because I went first.
Mine is Guy Malheiros.
Right. Yeah.
Who did you go?
Unless he gets no rep for his lift.
It's not going to happen, is it?
Well, clearly not. It didn't happen at top of the spur.
Not unless they get Hiller. Not unless they get Hiller on the competition floor. They know that we know that they can't afford him. So
I have gone for Saxon Panchik.
I thought you would. So just for anyone who hasn't looked at this, Guy Malheiros is in at $50, and Saxon Panchik is in at $60.
Yeah.
Is that because Saxon is training with Tia, or just because you think that he's going to be strong? Or
no, it is. I think so. I do think him training with Tia is important. I've said that it could be important. I think depending on his finish at the games, it's for me the determining factor as to whether or not Proven is really something. Because obviously Tia was winning the games before Proven was the training camp. Then Brooke was doing very well last year, and obviously she injured herself, so we don't really know what would have happened there. And Saxon obviously has recently moved to Proven, and he's always been good. He's always been a good athlete. So has Proven given him the ability to go from being good to being great.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see that. I think he's a very good lifter. He's not Guy, but he's very accomplished when it comes to the kind of barbell complexes. But he's also good at classic CrossFit. Okay.
Yeah, I see that,
and
I can get behind that pick.
Listening to Bosman, and and you said I put out a video. Basically, I put out a video where I'd clipped bits of him being on all these different podcasts talking about programming the games and his approach and things like that. And obviously, he doesn't come out and say specifically what he's doing, but he talks a lot about the roots of CrossFit, the core methodology of CrossFit, what CrossFit, and despite Saxon obviously being younger, because especially compared to Scott, he is OG CrossFit from training with Scott, right, and growing up in that environment. So I think if there is going to be a return to, if Bosman is saying athletes are going to get embarrassed because they've maybe been neglecting things, I wonder if Saxon is the kind of person that hasn't necessarily been neglecting things as much. We'll see. That's my reasoning.
Yeah.
I think he's a well-rounded athlete, and then I also think he's got old school CrossFit, I think he'd have a good Fran time compared to other athletes, for example.
Yeah. Well, just to put that into context, so Saxon is at $60, Medeiros is at $70, and the only other two athletes that are at 60 are Brent Fikowski and Pat Vellner.
Yes.
Because my first pick Guy was because Guy is at the same as Lazar Dukic, BKG, Noah Olson, Roman Krenikov, and Jeffrey Adler. They're all very good athletes.
Yeah, it's almost like everyone on this list is a very good athlete, isn't it?
Well, no, but what I mean,
Frustratingly
obviously, but I'm not sure BKG is going to be as dominant as he has been. He's a solid top 10 games year on year, often top 5. There's no doubt about that. So do you want to? I imagine you have him.
No, I really wanted BKG.
Yeah.
And again, it's just I don't know. It's just comments from like I've gone all in on my theory behind this year's games, basically.
Okay.
And I just think I actually think BKG will be very good at like the odd objects. He's good at that kind of stuff. He's very consistent. This is the annoying thing. He is really consistent. So I do think like for that he'd be really good. Yeah. Yash's did you see that video?
Yeah, I saw that when he got with Annie.
Yeah.
Yash is coming in the comments with BKG got waterboarded and egged though. If you haven't seen it, was it on Annie's
Instagram,
Annie's
I
stories?
guess.
Yeah, Annie's IG. Yeah, she did a magic trick and slammed him in the face and then slammed him on the back of the head with an egg. Honestly, I was wetting myself laughing.
Yeah, so I would have picked BKG, and I may, like, you know, as I said, this is my kind of preliminary list, and there's room to make some adjustments.
The problem is with Tia in there, you really don't have that much wiggle room for anybody else.
But what if my second male pick is more expensive than BKG?
Ooh,
yeah, but
really, then I think you've gone okay. That's fine. Well, let's go with female athlete number 2.
Yeah,
your turn to go first. I think we might have the same one, but we'll see.
I highly doubt it. But
okay.
Oh no! Now you have to tell me who you've got. Let me hear if you got
female athlete number 2 for me. Alexis Raptis.
Right. No, I haven't got her. Couldn't afford her.
she's $40.
Couldn't afford her. Yeah. So Yash is saying Laura Horvath is the only one who can come close to Tia. Absolutely, I agree with you. However, the reason that other people agree with you as well is that now why she costs $60 as opposed to my $20 pick of Elisa Fuliano.
Not a chance.
Of what?
Sorry, Elisa.
But not a chance of what? This is the question.
I don't think she'll get to make the cut.
This is my point. Is like they might not make the cut. I think her background will be useful for at least the start of the games. Actually, 2 things about her. I think 1, her background will be useful for the start of the games. She has a background in track and pole vault. Mm-hmm. So running, if there's going to be, you know, which we know there probably will be, like that's, and I know Boz is quite, you know, the way he speaks about certain things, it's like, okay, I could see that. And before that, she was a gymnast. So again, that could be very useful, especially if we look at movements that we are further behind in comparison to other sports, which is another thing Boz has been mentioning. So, you know, like the best weightlifters, CrossFitters are not that far behind them. In fact, we've sent multiple CrossFit Games athletes have gone to the Commonwealth Games, right?
Yeah.
But gymnastics, we are doing gymnastic movements that are being done by 5-year-old gymnasts, right? So compared to
the difference is though, no, but so I'm not that I feel particularly strongly, but there was a gymnast, so a Scottish gymnast that I was speaking to when I was in CrossFit Glasgow, and I was like, oh man, your muscle ups must be insane. He's like, well, no, not really, because I'm only doing a routine for 20 seconds and then my grip strength's gone. So his grip strength doesn't carry over. Yes, the movement, but even the movement patterns of a muscle up in gymnastics are not the same standard as in CrossFit. Like they will definitely have their feet above the bar. They'll definitely, like, there's no hold at the top and things like that. Obviously, the upper body strength crosses over, and all that stuff sort of crosses over.
And what about something like a press to handstand?
What do you mean?
So basically, they're like seated. So you'll be like seated, put your hands, lift yourself up, and then like move yourself into a handstand. Now, if you're watching, I very elegantly did some hand gestures to show what that might look like. But you can look up, because that is part of the world class fitness in 100 words. So practice and train major lifts, deadlifts, clean, squat, presses, clean and jerk, snatch. Okay, So we're good at all of that, right? Similarly, master the basics of gymnastics, pull-ups, dips, rope climbs, push-ups, sit-ups. We're great at all of that. Presses to handstands, pirouettes, flips, splits, and holds. But we've not seen those. L sit into handstands, Yash is saying. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he's also got seated rope climbs have been on main site.
So I would think someone who has a background in, and I know she's not the only one, but she's $20, and that's why I've picked her. So I think the track background, that, and then this is a bit crazy, but she can manage pain.
Yeah.
She's got rheumatoid arthritis. She's used to managing pain. It's long and grueling, and you have to be able to manage pain. And admittedly, she's managing pain on top of the pain of the workouts. But I think there is that, you get that ability, right, to push on and to know how to kind of deal with things. So I don't have much money. Let's go.
No,
and also she's Italian. I lived in Italy for 10 years.
Now you're picking. Now you're just clutching straws, dude.
She was at SID. She was at SID, so obviously I've got to represent that she was at SID, and I've spoken to her a little bit after the fact as well, and so I'm going all in on.
I to be honest, I don't think that's a terrible pick. She's obviously not winning the games.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, she wouldn't be $20. Like
exactly. Yes.
But yeah, not a terrible pick. She's outside. If you took it just by the list that they've got here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. She's 12th from bottom. If you took it from the list that they've got on Fantasy Fitnessing, which is obviously a list in order of greatness.
In order of greatness.
In order of greatness. She's outside the bottom 10, but inside the bottom 10 are people like Freya Moosberger, who is solid. Caroline Connors, also solid athlete.
And who's your second pick then? Oh no, you said, didn't you?
Mine was Alexis Raptis.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay. All right. Let's jump to the men so I can feel slightly more like
bam, I'm here.
So just to catch Bruce Wayne up, who's just jumped in the comments, we're going for our Fantasy Fitnessing picks. We've both picked Tia, even though she's ridiculously expensive, but we know she's going to win everything. And then our second picks for the women are very different because Sam has gone with a conservative Alexis Raptis, and I have gone with a shot in the dark Elisa Fuliano.
I love this in the comments. Sorry, I didn't realize Claire's watching with the seated rope climbs. I see that. Sorry, Claire. Thank you. I don't know if you're still on holiday. She was somewhere sunny. You clutching at straws. I like the fact that Yash is coming with I like maple syrup. Should I pick Pat Vellner or Brett Bukowski?
Well, Yash, it's funny you should say that because my second pick on the men's side is one Pat Vellner.
Uncle Pat. Hey, Bruce Wayne. Pat Vellner, really? You've gone Saxon Panchik and Pat Vellner?
I've gone Saxon Panchik and Pat Vellner. Again,
you must have some really
gymnastics
cheap
background.
I swear.
Yeah,
mate, you're like banking on the gymnastics to be in there. Like you're banking on are we going to see like some floor routine or something? Do you think? Like,
I think, and I've said this like on record, other places, that this year you need to look at the man that is programming the games, his background, his history with CrossFit. And while he has said the games is not going to be massively different, we're going to see the tests that people are usually prepared for, but he is talking of athletes that are, neglecting things that they should be doing, like that maybe we're doing in class, for example, and perhaps they're not doing, right? And so, like I saw on, I think it was maybe JR on the Savant's podcast with Powerful, like maybe the strength test would be like a max weighted pull-up, something like that, right? So I do think that there's going to be more. I mean, basically, if we, like last time we had that like weird handstand walk with freestanding handstand push-ups, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah. I don't think we'll see that again.
No, I don't think we will. But I think we might see something like a max L sit or like a seated rope climbs, as we've mentioned, or a press to handstand, something like that. And I think anyone who has got that level of body awareness that someone like Pat has, that Elisa has, that different ones have, I think they'll be able to. And I think all the athletes are good, like, and also we're balancing budgets, right? So, and
man, you've literally got $30 left for your last two picks. You've spent $100 in your first two ladies, and you spent 120 in your first two men. Like, what's going on? To be fair, I've only got $20 more than you.
Yeah.
For my
so who have you picked for your second athlete then?
My second athlete, I've gone Will Morad.
All right, well, there we go. You're making fun of me.
What? Making fun of me? The guy can swim. He's like a fish.
Well, there's debate about how integral swimming will be this year.
Well, there's a debate about whether I like cheese, whether that's got anything
Well,
to do
in
with
the sense
anything
that
else.
it seems more like it will be a poolside workout versus like an open water swim potentially. Maybe
Okay.
not, but
Yeah,
there's some
but
some
even
reason
so,
about
like,
that.
if you can swim, you can swim, right?
Well, I don't know. Can you swim and then assault bike? That's the question, isn't it?
I reckon Will Morad's got it.
Yeah, I reckon
got
he
it.
can. As I said, everyone on the list is very good. It's almost like they all did really well at a semi-final, or they did well enough at a semi-final that means when the person above them popped, they inherited their position. So, like, everyone on this list is great. Dave has tied our hands to having only $250. So don't take it out on me. I'm a slave to the system that we're using here. Anyway,
just jumping back to the comments. Claire is coming with strict weighted pull-ups. Is also on main site lots. Cat's in the comments.
We do them. Like, I don't know about you, but we do them quite often. Like across the
I
buff.
don't know about you, but I can't pull myself up. So, in fact, do you want to know a funny fact? Right, I don't like talking about functional fitness competitions that much, but the National Fitness Games a couple of years ago when it was on, they had a max weighted pull-up. That was for 3, and at the time I had 3 pull-ups, right? And the way that they did it was they weighed you in, and you won that event by actually lifting the most weight. So your body weight plus whatever you lifted. So me doing 3 pull-ups at body weight would have won the whole thing. Just at 130, I think I was 139 kilos at the time. Nobody was even close to doing 3 pull-ups at 139 kilos because they all weighed like under 100 kilos, and there was no way they were putting 50 kilos on themselves to do a pull-up. I was like, probably just win that event at the National Fitness Games.
Did you?
I didn't compete. I don't compete.
There you go.
You know me. You know me. Like you, I don't compete. Although I might do a battle cancer at some point, but that's a different story. Only in like
the Outer Hebrides or
Dubai or something like that.
Battle cancer. That's what you might do. Fight cancer.
Absolutely.
Right.
So Kat, just going back to the comments. Kat Shearer also in the comments. Hey Kat. And Yash is saying that I would love to inherit my brother's gymnastic ability. He can L-sit for like 3 minutes. That would be a horrendous workout. Max L-sit. Just that's the workout. How long could you L-sit for? Maybe it's like a 3-part workout. Like max L-sit, max handstand, and then like max. Is there such a you can do like push-up hold? You know, like when the guy's like actually
like a
balance in that position.
Planche, is it?
I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe, who knows? But I just there's something there. Anyway, I mean Velna's, he does very well every year, so I don't think I'm crazy for picking Velna.
No, anyway, I don't think you're crazy for picking Velna either.
So I think Velna, Panchik, that's so Saxon Panchik, Pat Velna, and then I've got Tia and Elisa.
Then you're into your third picks.
Oh, we've got a few other ideas here. Hold on. Max pegboard ascent. What about the .com workout of the day? What's the what?
They did that 1 minute.
1 minute.
L-sit 4. Is that today's?
There you go.
Is that today? Our program is really good that I don't generally look at .com.
Yeah, I think what you should be generally looking at is the picks
.com.
you've made for fantasy fitnessing and,
All right.
and reassessing the gymnastics abilities of your
Well,
pick.
I think you should just. I would love a 400-meter run. I would hate a 400-meter run. I'll be honest.
Well, like Boz always goes to the example of like a 1 mile run as like a great test because
Mm.
it's not complicated on paper, but it's seeing, because he also has said this a lot. Like he talked about like the was it like the corn bag sprint thing they did where they had to just, he's like, on paper it's boring, right? You start at the bottom of a hill and you walk to the top of a hill. But when you see the athletes do it and they're holding like the, you know, the sacks, because they weren't sandbags, but they were basically sandbags, weren't they? And you see them like going as fast as they can, and they're in pain, and they're just like, yeah, on paper it's not interesting, but watching it is interesting. And so so I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that.
Who now programs the .com workouts?
It's a secret, isn't it?
Is it?
I think they.
Is it someone just putting on the secret sauce?
Yeah. Okay. Let's just we've got to move on.
We do.
Third female athlete. How much money have you got left at this point? Because you've rightly pointed out that I've got like $30 for two people.
I've got 50 left.
Oh wow. All right. Lucy Campbell, is that your third pick?
That is my third pick.
There we go. Yeah, I know. She's $30.
Another swimmer.
Another swimmer. Well, you're hoping there's an open water swim. Tell you
that. Well, if you look like the Waterpalooza as well, did she win the swim run? Run? Yeah.
Row swim run, wasn't it?
Row swim run, yeah.
Yeah, she did. She did really well. So yeah, I'd love to pick Lucy. Don't have $30. I'd love to pick Lucy.
Well, you do, but you don't have you'd have an empty male pick.
Yes, well, exactly. So I have gone for Rebecca Fuselier. $10. Okay. Amazing at Instagram. Will that?
Wow.
See, so Bruce is just jumping in about. So this is what I was saying, that it would appear that there's going to be like the swim workout's going to be at the pool, so it's probably going to have more, you know, like there was that workout, wasn't it, with like assault bike, med ball, swim. So it's probably going to be something more like that. So we'll see. Now, Claire has jumped in with Rebecca is going to do well. So the reason
on what basis are we pinning this? Come on, tell us.
So again, Boz is going on about classic CrossFit. He talks about. So basically, we've had this discussion, I'm sure, maybe not on pod, but definitely off pod, that when you look at the athletes that are winning the games, the top players in the games, generally, they don't train CrossFit. They don't train at a box. They don't have an L1 trainer. They don't have an L1 themselves. She is a coach, first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking about not neglecting classic CrossFit, I think she is someone who is drilling those fundamentals into people all the time, right? And then, guess what her background is?
Instagram Reels?
Her background is Instagram Reels. So,
yes.
Knowing that, so her background is also gymnastics.
Ah.
And I don't know if you've noticed that. Do you know what? If there's no gymnastics this time, I'm going to look like a
I was literally about to say that either you're a complete genius or you're a complete a-hole and you've just thrown everybody off of every pick that they were going to make.
Yeah. And it's interesting the differences in the comments, because like Claire is like, she is true CrossFit, and Yash is like, coaches don't make the best athletes, vice versa. That is true. She is not her coach though, is she? Someone else is coaching her. So she's very good. But from what I hear, she is a good coach to those athletes, and we've seen her perform. So she did very well in the teen division at the games, and then obviously now, so she's been to the games before, albeit as a teen, and now she's she's cracked into that kind of finally the yes, yeah. I wasn't going to bring that up, that her coach is her partner, but yes, that was. I feel like that was a Savan podcast reveal as well, actually. Anyway, $10.
Well done them.
That was my pick. Yeah, it was a bit. controversial, I think, Sam. But anyway, never mind.
If $10 was your pick, then we have definitely got the same third male athlete.
Oh, have we?
We have to. If you
Is there-
don't have this athlete, he's probably just going to unfriend you in life.
Oh no, I don't think we do.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think I know who you think I'm gonna have picked.
He's exactly the same height as you.
Yeah, slightly taller. I'm just have you.
All right, whatever.
No, I haven't. I haven't. Yeah. So have
I'm
you picked
gutted,
Colton?
mate. I've picked Colton Mertens at $20 because Colton's a solid pick.
Yeah, I.
You've picked some random gymnast again.
I've picked Tudor Magda.
I mean, you're going to have to tell me who that is and why you've picked them.
Because
I do gymnastics.
No, because he is. I mean, he is very fast on his hands. You saw that at the semi-finals. So he's a rookie this year, but he's been to the games in the teen division before. He had a phenomenal performance at. It wasn't Grand. Was it the Mac or Syndicate Crown? I think it was the Mac.
What is that? A pig train?
Yeah, the Colton. That's like the Colton train, isn't it?
Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't spend enough
also-
time in the YouTube comments anywhere. Sorry, guys.
I would also just add that if you followed this, so we said this isn't the first time we've done the fantasy fitnessing thing. We've done it many times.
Mhm.
Last year at the games, I had Colton. Like Rogue, I've had Colton. I've had him every time. I've had Colton, BKG, and Turi probably every single time we've done this, and I haven't picked any of them this time. So this is either going to be sensational, or you could guarantee next time we do one of these, I'm going back to all my old school picks because I should have.
To be honest, mate, I think you've gone with the theme and you've stuck to it. Like you are
I'm all in.
hardcore
All chips are in on this.
Yeah, the chips are in on gymnastics, old school CrossFit, CrossFitters. That's not even a word.
And I think I think Tudor will do well. He'll do well.
Mhm.
Will he like, destroy, knock it out of the park? I don't know, but I've got Saxon and Vellner. So
yeah, I suppose you don't need him to knock it out of the park. You just need him to get you some points, right?
I just need him to rack up a few points. Yeah.
Well,
This isn't like, again, Dave forced us to have $250 to pick 6 athletes. This is not my top 3 podium picks. There's definitely some in there that I think will be on the podium, particularly Tia. That's an easy one. But in the constraints that I had, and with the insane amount of CrossFit media I have consumed about the games over the last couple of weeks, I can't go back on this. Yes, people are jumping in the comments saying Tudor's going to do well. Yeah. Thank you.
Tudor. Yeah. Okay,
have you not seen him?
Fine.
Go back and watch some of this stuff from semi-finals.
I haven't.
He is good. He is. And as Claire points out, he's working with James Townsend now.
Mm.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of guys in the comments tonight. Thanks for jumping in. We got Simba jumping in saying Roman K is the man for money making here. I'm not sure. He's good. He's decent. He's decent, but he is not. He's not $20 better than Will Morad. Not on your Nelly.
Yeah. So if because as you said, we've got quite a few people. Hello, Elise as well. Nice to see you here. Yash is obviously here. Claire's in the comments as well. So if you don't do fantasy fitnessing and you want to do it, it's completely free. Just sign up at fantasyfitnessing.com. Make an account, log in, and then you go to leagues and you can look up Plate Stack Chat UK and you can join the league. And then if you think my picks are bad, prove me wrong with your much better picks. And and well done for Mike Halpin, Velna, Pepper, Magda, Cara, Raptis, Friova. Mike, are they your
They are. They're his picks.
Are they your actual picks on fantasy fitnessing?
Raptis definitely is, and Cara definitely is.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if that. Yeah, I think the maths works out that probably is his picks.
Yeah.
And Mike, if they are your picks, have you joined the league? And the annoying thing is, you can't see who's in the league until it starts.
It's so good.
Michelation. Oh. All right.
Are they good at gymnastics? Because if they're not, then they're not going to Jason's team.
Okay, Mike says he's still swapping around. I am as well, Mike. And you know, if Boz comes out and does another podcast like tomorrow and says, guys, I realize I've talked a lot about gymnastics and you know the core values of CrossFit. I mean, he mentioned Greg Glassman on the CrossFit Games podcast. When was the last time you heard somebody working for CrossFit?
He's not even allowed to do that, is he?
Talking about, like, I was amazed. Like, this was great. So, you know, let's put that. But if he comes out and says, sorry, guy, I think you're all going down the rabbit hole here. No, I'm not talking about gymnastics. It's all going to be strongman workouts. Yeah, I'm going to reevaluate my team. Don't worry. But I'm pretty happy with what I've got so far. I think it, you know, for the constraints that we have, for the small amount of money that Fantasy Fitnessing are giving us, I always think we need more.
If I tell you what, if you're in the comments, drop your pics, drop it on our Instagram, and we'll share them out, and we'll tag Fantasy.
People don't want to share them; they want to keep them secret.
or share your
share your team name.
But the athletes love it. Oh yeah, your team name we need to know. But the athletes love it. If you're sharing it online, that like they love it. They love seeing the fact that they're on their Fantasy Fitnessing teams.
Bruce Roy mentions that Dave talked about Greg on the week in review. Now I know he did, but because I know how important watch hours are on YouTube, I don't jump in the video, so I make sure to watch from the start to the end. So I'm only halfway through because then I had to jump on and do this. So all I saw is confirmation that Dave Castro has never watched one of my YouTube videos, because he said he doesn't watch anybody's YouTube videos. But I know that he speaks about Greg, and I haven't got there yet to see what he says. So I'm very interested to. I will probably be doing that once we get off of this. I was going to say call. That's not wrong. Yash named his team Yash. Okay, well, we'll definitely be able to find that one, I'm sure.
Great.
Right. And so you've got Colton, you said, as your.
I've got Colton as my last pick. Yes.
Okay, so running through the teams for me, I've got Saxon Panchek, Patrick Vellner, and Tudor Magda, and for the women, Tia Claire Toomey, Elisa Fuliano, and Rebecca Fuzilia.
Okay. I've got Guimar Heros, Will Morad, and Colton Mertens, and female, I've got Tia Toomey, Alexis Raptis, and Lucy Campbell.
They're very different teams, aren't they?
Save roster. We are locked in. Oh, I'm not, because I haven't logged in.
Well, we're not locked in. This is the thing. So I've saved the roster, but I am also.
You can edit the roster.
I'm also. That's probably the best pick. Who's the best pick, Bruce?
Oh, Bruce. Yeah, Bruce Wayne.
Okay, I'm gonna have a chat with Bruce after this. Once this is all over, I'm gonna see if I can get some better information for my team.
Well, let's jump to our other topic, shall we, quickly? Because
okay, 5 minutes.
This is going to be interesting, because I think the guys in the comments are going to. This might blow up now, because I feel like we've got some very what should we say, knowledgeable, vocal people.
Knowledgeable and vocal. That's
knowledgeable
what I like.
And vocal. So we're talking front page news now. So I'm going to share. Let's share.
Oh, have you got it? I was just looking for it on my phone.
I've got it. Window. Let's share that window. Share in the window. No, it is not Rishi the Man Sunak. It is, in fact. So Jason shared this with me earlier. A-list beauty. I tried the new £300, which will be like what probably $300 at the moment, the way the pound's going. IV drip. So Jason, talk us through that.
Okay, so that's not the issue. Isn't that is on the Times? I would not.
It's not
expect that not to be on the Times, right? It's that this is. I mean, do we name and shame? Name and shame is not maybe the right word. So basically, no. I saw this. No, I'll say where I saw it. So I didn't see this in the Times. I didn't go out and buy the Times. I saw this because it was reshared by Fittest PR. So they shared this as, you know, because it's probably one of their clients, one of the people that work with them. The thing I found interesting about this is, as I said, I've been listening to a lot of Boss recently. And when he was speaking with Chase, he was talking about the core principles of CrossFit and what Greg had been doing. And, you know, when I said he mentioned Greg, and it was interesting because he was saying, like, now with access to information and like an Instagram and things like that, we start seeing people, he's like they're almost going backwards. Like, you know, like when CrossFit started, it was so different, and they were like, and now we see because we see it as quite mainstream almost. Like, you know, everybody's doing cleans and muscle ups and things like that, even though take 2 steps outside of CrossFit and it's not at all mainstream. And you still meet people now that you're like, oh, what do you do? I do CrossFit. And they're like, what's that? Right. So it's not, you know, we obviously are in a circle of people where everyone kind of knows what it is, but still. But so there's 2 things about this. One is that, and you know, I shared it with you guys just to be kind of like, oh, this is interesting, right? Because these IV drips are like, I don't know, they're kind of fitness hacks, I guess. Like, oh, you can get all your, you know, vitamins and nutrients and stuff that you need through an IV drip and make you feel better and, you know, refresh you, kind of is the idea behind it. If you do a bit of research on it, doctors not super happy about people just doing lots of IV drips. But I just find it interesting because I don't know if you remember, there was a Morning Chalk Up article talking about like the professionalization of CrossFit, and the person that they interviewed and talked to was Kate from Fittest PR. So it's like,
I mean, they are allowed to. They're a PR company, so they're allowed to do PR for other people. And from what I can gather, Hannah Sean Evans is the person that's done the article. I mean, I had to pay. It's behind a paywall. I'm not paying for the Times, especially not the Times on Saturday.
Yeah.
You pay like, I mean, it's only £3 for 3 months or whatever, but that's £3 too much for a newspaper I'm never going to read.
Yeah. And I don't know. And like, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, of course they can have different people, and of course they can, you know, they can put out whatever they want. But it's just, I just found it funny because, you know, when it's just that perfect storm of like hearing Boz sort of make these comments at the same time that I saw an article that was like pushing this as the future of CrossFit for athletes is, you know, it's becoming more professional, and it's because of companies like Fittest PR and then being able to do that. And then it's like, oh, and here's, you know, right, perfect. Claire's literally put up a comment there, you know, eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar. Right. Like, boom. It's just, again, like, oh, let's start overcomplicating things. £300 for one of these drips, these IV drips.
Do you think? But this is interesting, right? So if that is the case, if there's study, I mean, if there are studies that show that it improves recovery or something, could that be a CrossFit Games sponsor in the future? One of these brands?
I mean, anything could be a CrossFit sponsor in the future.
Yash is saying, I don't eat meat, fish, or eggs, and I've never needed an IV.
Yeah. Oh, Simba's jumping in as well. You're not putting that up? Oh, so I don't put them up anymore. Every time I put them up, I get in trouble.
Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, and again, maybe, and I don't have any, like, I don't have, I don't have an issue with it in itself. I guess it sounds like a PED. Yeah, Bruce, you're right. Like, I mean, obviously next year, that's what we're going to hear, isn't it? It was like, I'm sorry, my IV was tainted.
Yash in the comments with only IVs I care about were for Pokemon. Yes. Is Pokemon Go still a thing in America? Those that are in Americans. Those that are in Americans don't want to be there. They are Americans.
Oh. Okay. Oh, the comments. I don't even want to be on the podcast. I just want to jump in the comments at this point.
Jump in the comments, mate. Simba's microdosing.
Basically, Bruce is saying that Yash has never pushed himself to the level of a CrossFit Games athlete, and that's probably why he's never needed an IV. I mean, arguably, like we've seen, like when Cara finished Murph, she probably could have done with an IV, right? Like that was, when she got like that heat stroke, or was it last year at which was the one in Vegas? It wasn't Syndicate Crown, because it's one that's not there this year. Comments, help me out. What was the pre-workout stickers?
Mate, I want to do a whole episode on toe spaces.
So Mike Halpin, this is a much easier example. The closer to home would be pre-workout, Snickers, Monster Water, toe spacers, those recovery boots, 8 sleep mattresses. Yeah. So maybe the IV drip could come in and it could be a sponsor, and they too would sponsor the same 6 athletes as everybody else. So, you know,
wow, this is like just shots fired everywhere tonight.
West Coast Classic. Thank you, Kat. So
Kat's
I was
always
about
on the ball.
Danny Spiegel when she came in off the run at West Coast Classic. She was also somebody that probably could have done with an IV at that point. That's what I was going with that, but I couldn't remember the event, so I ran out of steam.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I said, do what you want to do. I don't really care. It's funny. I get all
I don't really care, but I'm going to put videos out about them. The fact that I do actually care.
I haven't put a video out about this.
I'm joking.
Yet.
I'm joking.
Yet. I haven't. I mean, like, do what you want, obviously, but it's just funny that it's sort of, again, because we talk of like it maybe as an aid, right? And actually Bruce's comment to Yash about, well, you've never pushed yourself as far as the CrossFit Games.
Well, Yash has come back on that one. Bruce, I mean, I've pushed myself to the point of puking, washed my face, and then carried on. Lol.
and what a night out that was.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a standard night out in Essex. That is. Tactical chunder, we call that.
But and this goes very contrary to what you've just said, but if we think again about CrossFit, the foundation of CrossFit being health and fitness, it just again seems to be going so far. I just, more than ever, I just want them to, split the sport and the methodology even more definitively than they have. And actually what I see is CrossFit trying to kind of link it back together by giving out L1s and stuff to the athletes, maybe high rocks.
I don't know what that's in relation to, Simba. In fact, just
the Vegas Showdown, maybe.
Oh, the Vegas Showdown.
Sorry, no, I did mean the semi-final event that was held in Vegas last year. Sorry, should have been more clear.
But Hyrox, as a non-endemic brand, could potentially sponsor an event. Could you see that at the CrossFit Games? That's a whole nother left field thing. But could you see that at the CrossFit Games?
What, Hyrox sponsoring CrossFit?
Well, no, Hyrox as an event.
Oh, Hyrox as an event at CrossFit.
OCR is an event at CrossFit, right?
Right. Okay.
They had an obstacle course. That's a roughly. We're talking roughly a 2-hour event, max.
I would say that they could basically do it, and it wouldn't.
Well, yeah, they could, and not call it High Rocks, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I'm trying to catch up in the comments here.
Yeah.
I'll just chuck some out and we can read them out.
Okay, yeah. We'll just finish up by reading it, because still, by far, the majority of people that listen do so in the car on their drive to work. To the point that, I think it was Shutterwad, maybe? I'm trying to think who it was now. Yeah, I think it was. Said to me, if you're listening now, when he saw it, said, he's like, oh, it's so weird to see your face when you talk.
So Mike Halpin's put, then even closer, Daniel Brandon, shout out to Carbs comment, and Justin Medeiros saying if he had to pick between an affiliate and a home gym, he would pick home gym.
Oh, there we go.
I think we should shun him.
I would pick Catalyst CrossFit, obviously, as my...
Speaking of Catalyst CrossFit, Kat Scherer says, this is going to be the best games yet. Can't wait. The super fans are super engaged this year like no other. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah. And so that's an interesting thing, because I think... and Elise also says that she agrees with Kat. Wish I could go. Yeah, I wish I could go. I start seeing I see Hiller gets his media pass, and I think, oh man, Hiller gets a media pass. He gets to be there. Who couldn't go even if he had CrossFit Clarity. Yes, Kat. Sorry. Yeah, I'd love. Oh man, it would be so good to be there.
The game stream comments are going to be fun. Agree.
Yes.
Do you know what it's going to be? It's just going to be bat symbols.
Well, no, because Hiller's not going to be in the chat anywhere, because gonna
No,
be
no,
there.
but all
So
the
people, why
Robins
are
will
they?
be like bats, 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 bats,
Yeah,
bats,
but
bats,
he's not
bats.
gonna see that. Oh, Cake It So's going. Oh, people say next year. Yeah, right. Well, if I start putting pennies in the bank now, maybe I can afford to go next year. Just don't tell
Hey,
my family.
maybe you'll get a Noble t-shirt. Or maybe one of the people will give you their money for the Noble t-shirts that they sell. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. All those many athletes that have Noble t-shirts that have got $20 to spare.
Cake It So is in the comments. I don't know who that is, but I'm going. Cannot wait. Hi, Cake It So. Thank you for tuning in tonight. Big shout out to everyone tuning in tonight. What else are we saying? Next year, Jason from. Oh no, that's Bruce. That's so annoying. Next year, Jason from Elise.
Yeah, let's see if we can make that happen. I'm still working hard just to get the numbers up, to be honest. And
Where are you at the moment? If you haven't already, we're finishing very shortly. If you haven't already, in fact, I know most of these people will be in your podcast, your YouTube already. But if you haven't, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to Jason CF Media YouTube channel, go do that. If you haven't subscribed to this one,
I would say
in the link below somewhere.
I would say not if you haven't subscribed. I would say if you haven't forced maybe 2 or 3 people to subscribe.
Let's do that.
That would be really good. I am on 981 at the moment.
Oh, so you're literally 19 away from
hitting that 1,000 goal. Yeah.
Oh, Claire's in on a local reminder. British Teens Masters spectator tickets are on sale as of today. So if you're in the UK, if you're specifically in Southampton, what's the date of that? September
11th,
sometime?
10, 11, 12, I think it should be. Let me double check that quickly before Claire tells me. 10 and 11, yeah. So of September, yes.
Simba's off to anyone going to the Noble fan zone to spend money they don't have on stuff they don't need.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's something I did really want to talk about was, okay.
We'll do another episode. No, we'll do another one. We'll do that next week.
Let me put one thing out there because I wanted to do a video on it and I can't do a video just on this. But like, I don't know if anybody watched the 40-minute Morning Chalk Up video where they talked with Cara and
Are you
Travis.
allowed to slag the Morning Chalk Up off now?
I'm not. No. Well, I'm not slagging off the Morning Chalk Up. I'm just.
I'm just saying. It's just a question.
I'm just saying that one of the presenters on that said a couple of times how we need Noble to succeed, so we need to buy the Noble shirts. I could not disagree more with the idea of we need Noble to succeed.
Oh, we're getting into territory I can't talk about right now because I utterly disagree with that. Why do we need a brand to succeed? Why do we even need that? We need affiliates to succeed. That's what we need within the CrossFit space. We don't need anything else to succeed. The games could go die for all we care about. Wouldn't care. Wouldn't bother me in the slightest if there was no CrossFit Games ever again.
Well, but also if Noble don't have the money to do it, somebody else will step in and do it. Let's not. But the idea of because Noble have come out from with it, because basically the thing I was thinking on all of this is don't force us to be loyal to brands. Brands will not stay loyal to CrossFit.
No.
As soon as they get big enough to branch out into other sports where they can make more money and they don't need CrossFit, they have no need to stay loyal to CrossFit. So stop telling someone, if you love CrossFit, you need to go out and spend, $60 on a t-shirt.
£95 on a pair of women's leggings. £95. That's a ridiculous amount of money. We're talking that's stupid, man.
Oh, I mean, this second wind has taken off now. Just a few things to address. So, Cake It So. Funny how nobody will say Tia's name in relation to Cara and the t-shirt. Yeah, I mentioned that very little bit when I talked about them. That obviously Tia had a shirt and Cara, and maybe if we'd got one of the other men, and I think I said something maybe if Jay or Ricky or Baden had got one and they pulled together, and of course if you added Tia, they could maybe support all the Australian athletes, including masters and teams and things like that. So, but yes, I do think though it put Tia in in a no-win situation. Because if she stepped forward and said, "Oh, I'm gonna share the proceeds from mine as well with the Australian athletes," then everyone's like, "Oh, you're only doing that because Cara did it." Like, I don't think they mind when they get the check that was your motive. And then if you don't do it, it's going to be, well, why didn't she do it? Surely she's getting more money from the games than anybody else. I'm sure she could afford it. So I think that was tough. Claire's saying like Whoop, yeah, that Whoop is my go-to kind of example on that. And really,
yeah. Cake It's So saying if they can't succeed in their own back, then they're not a viable company. Agree.
Yep. Yeah, I'm with you on that as well.
Lululemon is way cheaper, and that's overpriced, says Yash. Agree.
Yeah, it's worrying, isn't it? When you're like, oh, I'll go, I can't afford that. Let me go to Lululemon. That's telling you something, right?
Apparently, Simba knows a guy who does a decent meme. I couldn't possibly. I don't know. Wouldn't know what you're talking about.
And Cake It So saying it's still better than not doing it. Obviously, in relation to tier sharing the funds. Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. I guess Simba's saying I agree, but we can't ignore the publicity it's given to the gym pop aspect of affiliates in CrossFit. I realistically, I went to a CrossFit gym because I saw the CrossFit Games. Fact. That's and that's brilliant. But when I had a whole conversation about this in the gym, and I'd like to get Henry on to talk about it. Actually, a guy called Henry. We were talking about why, and it sort of goes off the back of what Mike was talking about off pod last week. This is not what Mike was talking about, but why CrossFit will never be a professional sport is what I was talking about. And we had a bit of a discussion about it. And then I had a bit of a discussion at the gym. Why it won't be an actual professional sport with a governing body and all that other stuff. There would have to be something else. It can't be the CrossFit Games. It would have to be something else with divisions and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I
definitely think there is also a
Go on.
Oh, sorry, I'm just reading a longer comment than the other one.
Yeah.
I would say I am also very tired now of constant comparisons to other professional sports. Yeah, you're not a professional sport. And on that same morning chalk up video, when there was because what's funny is we had spoken about this on pod, hadn't we? About like if you bought a soccer or like football in the UK jersey, the fact that you would wear that throughout the year, and you kind of did a breakdown on it, was about like £1.50 a game or something like that when you looked at the season as a whole, and wearing it maybe when you go and play football in the park or whatever, and then this jersey is like one and done, one weekend. Yeah, you could wear it to work out and so on. And in that one, they were like, and people complain about the price, like $65, but like an American football jersey will cost you $120, and it's like they're not the same thing. They're not the same thing at all. So let's not compare these two things and then sort of justify high prices by comparing it to something that's in another realm. Like it doesn't make sense. Anyway,
yeah, I'm interested in why Reebok. So Yash is just throwing out why Reebok was so good for CrossFit, and I hope TYR tier have the capacity to step up. They're nice too. Where are we getting the fact that they're nice? Like, how do we know? How do we know their public image? What? Because arguably Noble are nice. They give $20 of their shirts to their athletes. Who can ask for more than that?
$20
when they're only charging $27 more. Yeah.
The Qatar Airline Games, yeah.
I could get behind that.
Yeah, actually, one of the biggest problems is getting the athletes to the games. Maybe an airline wouldn't be a bad idea.
An airline would work at it. Go Man U. I mean, you can get right out of our podcast right now, Bruce Wayne. Clearly know nothing about football.
And Bruce has also said, when athletes are pushing sugar and carbs, which completely goes against the methodology, it doesn't help. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna later scroll back through this comment section and
Yeah.
script a video. I tell you that much.
Well, we're obviously really grateful for you guys dropping in.
Oh, so
We've got
Simba's perfect. But just read that final comment from Simba.
Yeah,
That's
so
quite
this will be our final one. As someone who has worked in the fitness sphere for over a decade, CrossFit as a whole is an anomaly and potentially will never be seen again. That's interesting. That is interesting.
Oh, I said that was the last comment, and then
Can we go down
so
with new comments? There's no comparison. Think of NFL. Fans just watch and they aren't going out and playing football on the regular. CrossFit fans actually do CrossFit daily. It's just so different than other sports.
Yeah, I agree, which also means you're monthly paying your affiliate fee, where you're not paying your like affiliate fee to the NFL, right? So you can afford to buy an overpriced jersey to support your team, because maybe that's that, and perhaps tickets for the events if you're going to watch some of the games. That's how you're like giving money, right? Whereas we are actually supporting the core methodology with our going to our affiliate and talking about CrossFit and like promoting CrossFit in that way. So don't make me spend $65 on a t-shirt. That's end of statement. Bang, mic drop. Let's go. Oh, right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us in the comments. That was really nice. It kept us on an extra 20 minutes, which is good for us, maybe. Who knows whether it's as good for our families. We'll see. But thank you for watching, coming live. We're here every Monday at 8 p.m. in the UK, and I will leave you intelligent people to work out what exactly that means in whatever part of the world you are in. Sometimes Tom will be with us. He's not here at the moment, but you can always follow what he's doing on at Chalking Fitness. You can, of course, follow Sam at La Roche Original. I am at Jason CF Media on Instagram, or as we've mentioned, on YouTube as well. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week. And Sam, you can lead us out.
Ciao, bye.